Welcome back to the Awesemo Odds Betting Show. I am your host, Jordan Frank. I am joined, as I always am on these fine Friday mornings, by Ben Raza. Ben, how you doing today?
Sup, fellas? Happy Friday. As always, I'm all right. It's cold and rainy in New York, but big day of sports. A lot of things going on. College basketball already started, not gonna lie.
The full day slate of college basketball today, that's for sure.
This-
Nolan Kelly joining us as usual. Nolan,
Going
what's
on? I'm
happening?
just
How you
looking at
doing?
flights to Mexico here after all my winnings from last week. Just another 3-0 week, another more money in the bank. No one go back and review the tape.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a lie if you believe it. Remember that.
Do we need to go back and check what the actual picks were?
I don't think we need to do that.
Nah.
I think we could
I
just
think
take
I
our
went
word for 'em.
2-1. I've been having some steady 2-1s. I think
You got to be
that's
in first here. I don't know. We haven't tallied it up, but I'm sure you're in first.
well. I'm going to take your word as gospel. I don't want to go back and tally it up, but we've had some good picks. We've had some that we probably should have faded, but
Yep.
anytime the three of us are on the same game, we know we're doomed.
That's a fact. I actually had a good week last week for a change, but
Nice.
yeah, the NFL is brutal. I mean, I think we've all acknowledged sharp lines, a lot of information out there, limited games, so it's a slog. But this is the home stretch for teams, obviously in the playoff hunt.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
tell-
This
I'll
is the
tell you
last
what,
week of buys, at least.
I had a 7. I went 7 for my first 7 on a parlay, and I had the Bears +6 in the 8th game. And did
I
not.
like
hope
the
you-
Bears last week.
I hope you hedged out of that, at least to some
Yes.
degree.
I did not.
Shit.
That's not the answer.
Oh boy. Well, the Bears may come up again as we get into this week. Interesting spot for the Bears.
Yeah.
Before we dive into it, I do want to just do some of the housekeeping here. I want to mention our sponsor, EV Analytics. If you're looking for real-time betting, stats, odds, models, make sure to check out EV Analytics. Also, make sure to check out their odds, which are posted on our site. If you're on our site looking for the Vegas lines to help you, make lineups and look at projections and players you want to play. So make sure to check out EV Analytics. I also want to make sure to mention our promo code, which is one word, Awesemo Odds. If you use that promo code, you'll get 50% off any monthly package on the site. So make sure to check that out. I believe there is a giveaway today. I wanted to pull up that information. Twitter giveaway. So it's on the main Twitter handle. You can win a free NBA Awesemo Plus Pass, which has a $399 value. Guess the player who's going to put up the most fantasy points on tonight's NBA slate. And there'll be one random winner chosen if there's more than one. You guys have a play on that yet? Do you have any thoughts on the NBA slate? It's 9 a.m. Pacific. I have not looked at the NBA slate, so I can't really offer much at this time.
No, I know there's a lot more. There's only 2 games yesterday.
Yeah.
A lot of teams play tonight. Jazz are a massive favorite against the Warriors. That's literally the extent of what I know so far.
I cut out there, guys. Sorry.
You're all good. You didn't miss anything. We were talking about the NBA.
Nice.
Quick NBA plug since there's the giveaway for the NBA. Is Luka playing tonight? I guess we'll have to check that out.
See, it's still a lock.
He is. I have a. I
He's
believe
good.
I mentioned this on the show. I have a Luka future for MVP.
Nice. What'd you get on that? Like 40 to 1 or something?
50-1. They are playing tonight. Obviously, this is going as well as I could anticipate. I still don't think he is going to win it. It's very early, of course, but my God, is he unbelievable?
He is.
He's got to have a shot though, right? It's like him, Giannis are the two, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, Harden's averaging like 40 points a game, which is just stupid.
I hear
But
people don't want to vote for Harden anymore though.
good.
Yeah, I think for sure that Giannis is the favorite right now. You need Dallas to win more games. Like, you can't be an MVP for a 500 team.
Yeah, I have
That's
a
the key.
position on them making the playoffs as well. I need Dallas, all things Dallas in the NBA for me.
I like it.
Good right now.
I like it. Well, that was I would love to talk NBA, but I know we need to focus on Week 12 here. Go through our picks of the week. I'm not sure. Did you guys have any takeaways from last night's game? I actually missed most of the game. Colts ended up covering for the most part, depending on when you got that line. But it seems like 3.5 was the consensus for the Colts.
Yeah,
We
I
lost
was
by
on
3
the
last night.
Colts side of things, of pick 'em pool. I didn't bet it, but it just seemed like that extra half point just was the kicker for me. So
Yeah. Ben, do you have any position last night?
I didn't. I like the Texans in the game. Didn't bet it though, thankfully. I caught some of it. It was, the fumble at the end there. That was unfortunate for the Colts.
Yeah.
Kind of got jobbed, but just a kind of a hard slog it out type game. I was watching Georgetown in Texas on the college basketball side of things. So Texans needed that game, of course. That was massive for their playoff hopes.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember who led us off last week. I think I might have. Ben, do you want to
Sure.
start it off?
I'm going to stick with my life hedge. I did this last week. I really like the spot for New England against the Eagles. It was ugly. They got the job done. Now they come home. I see 6.5 on my screen, which is why I like the game. In Foxborough against the Cowboys, who, they're an interesting team. We can dig into what you think about Zeke. Dak is playing great, but going up against this defense in Foxborough is what I keep stressing. The Patriots have not been tested at home. Every win by double digits. I think they showed, their best foot and cover this number. They need to win these games. I know they're securely in the playoffs, but the Ravens are clearly pushing them for home field, and we know how valuable that is. So I'm going to lay the points with New England once again, and just kind of until someone beats them at home, I'll keep chugging along.
I'm on the opposite side of this one.
All right, talk to me.
All right, do your first pick.
Everything
then.
you got on the Patriots, Ben. I don't know. I just think the Patriots are overrated, and I think their offense is going to struggle. I don't know where this their passing offense is just going to be atrocious. I think from here on out, they don't have any weapons on offense, so it's pretty much just running the ball, short passing, and Julian Edelman. I don't know. That offense doesn't scare me at all. And then I think on the defensive side of things, again, they've succeeded because they played almost no one all year, and Dak is really, really good. So I don't know. I think the Patriots still find a way to get it done, but I think this is a tight one. But I don't know. Not really based on any kind of stats, just a gut feel.
I mean, it's Dak has been great. There's no doubt about it. Both teams to me are kind of overrated in their own way. Patriots to me, they just don't lose home games. And if you're going to give me, if this is 7.5, of course I'm probably not having a play, but inside a touchdown at home, even though I don't think the passing attack is that efficient, I think they do enough to kind of hold serve once again.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that the Patriots are gonna be playing some really tight games down the stretch here, a lot of them. So and Cowboys always find a way to choke things away. So
there is that, but
that's for sure. So I guess I should give my first pick. My first pick was the Patriots. So there's the tiebreaker right there.
Stuck with me.
So Nolan, you're looking great.
I'm gonna be wearing my Zeke jersey on the show next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Man.
There's a couple injuries that I'm looking at that I think are important. It seems like Isaiah Wynn is going to come back for the Patriots. Their offensive tackle, their offensive line has been kind of a mess, and I think that's been certainly a contributing factor to how bad the Patriots have been looking on offense. I think a lot of people are looking at that game against the Eagles and saying, the Eagles secondary is really bad. Why didn't the Patriots score more points? But I kind of believe a little bit in the Eagles secondary. This is a different discussion. It's getting better and healthier. Yeah. So the Patriots still won and covered that game. So I think there's a little bit of an overreaction given last week, just that the Patriots offense hasn't looked that great, and they haven't. And like you're saying, Nolan, their weapons are going down. I mean, Sanu, I'm not sure if he's going to play. I think he's expected to miss. They have a bunch of injuries, but I'm taking the Pats here. I just think it's a good spot for them coming home. The Cowboys also, I do agree that I think both teams are definitely overrated. Everyone talks about the Patriots, that they haven't beaten anybody good. The Cowboys haven't beaten a team over 500 yet. They're taking care of business. They have the number one ranked DVOA offense. And that's really based off the last 3-4 weeks, as Dak has just been lighting it up, averaging 375 yards a game the last 4 weeks.
But they've also been playing so much of this season without their full offensive line. I think that's a huge, they're finally getting healthier on the offensive line, and they're missing 2 or 3 guys for the most part. for like half the season. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a key to this team, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And Collins, the right tackle for the Cowboys, sprained his MCL, so I think probably is not going to play. He's one of the best tackles, uh, in the league. So it's a good spot. I think. Look, I think the Patriots are going to win. Will they cover the 6.5? Well, I hope so, because that's what I'm going to take. But I can see this game being pretty close and come down to kind of a final play near the end of the game, one way or the other.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
You want to snake it?
Let's snake it, but I like that we have conflicting positions. That's always fun.
Yeah.
It's my go, right? Yeah.
Well, let me give my second pick. We'll snake it, and then we'll go to you.
I haven't made a pick yet.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. I thought you were on the Cowboys as one of your picks.
Yeah, no. I was just disagreeing with you.
Oh, we'll take it away then. Okay.
Oh, my bad.
No worries. I'm going to take the Eagles at home, -1.5. It looks like right now. That line's been moving closer and closer to a pick 'em as the week's gone on. I think it opened like Eagles -5.5, and it has been bet down. So I also like the under in this one. I was really surprised to see that the game total at 48 points, but I'm not going to bet that. I think the combo of an under and the Eagles is not bad, though. This Eagles team, I guess I'm a little bit worried. I'm not actually going to bet this now. I'm going to wait and see. Alshon Jeffrey, I think, is if he's healthy and he's able to go, I think that's an upgrade. And then Jason Peters as well, who's been solid this year. So one of the top 10 tackles according to PFF. If he's healthy, I think that makes a difference. So wait for the injury reports on those, and then if you get some good news there, I don't have a problem just waiting to lay down the money. 4th ranked pass rush up against the 30th ranked pass blocking unit. Teams that travel across country from the West Coast to the East Coast have -5% ROI and a 47% win rate against the spread. As well, Philly is in Pythagorean wins should have about 1.3 more wins than they do, and the Seattle Seahawks should have about 1.2 or something less than they do. So the public is on the Seahawks, but the Seahawks have just been a little bit luckier than their record indicates, the record is a little bit luckier than how they have been playing. So all that, and also the Seattle's not really very good at defending the tight end position. Philly runs 2 tight end sets at the highest clip in the NFL, and even without Alshon Jeffrey, I think like both Ertz and Goddard are still pretty strong weapons to go along with no one else. So maybe it'll come down to a Nelson Aguilar drop ball. But I like what I saw out of the Eagles last week against the Patriots. I know they lost that game, but it was a pretty tough slog, and their defense looked really good. So give me the Eagles at home, and give me the 1 or 1.5 points.
Yeah, I'm on the same side as you are. I do like the Eagles here too. I've been trying to find good spots to fade Seattle. I think this entire season, it seems like they are a little bit of smoke and mirrors, and mostly just Russell Wilson. I can give you a little bit more stats, but you hit on a lot of the ones that I had seen. One of the bigger ones, which I kind of alluded to earlier, is that the Eagles defense, everybody seems to be, just pouring dirt on their defense. They're actually pretty good. They're 6th in DVOA ranking.
Mm-hmm.
And they're getting healthier, like we're saying. They looked good against the Patriots. Patriots offense, has been struggling, and we just talked about that. But I do like the Eagles in this spot a lot as well. Seattle's defense has a lot of problems. Their DVOA is 21st. I think this is a good spot for the Eagles. Ben, did you look at this game at all?
I did. It's actually my second pick.
On the Eagles?
Yeah.
Oh man, we're all on the Eagles.
Yeah, it's over. I just, Jordan, I think we've been in the same boat. I'm not a big believer in Seattle. They've done it against. They certainly have upside. We know that. Russell Wilson's fantastic. They've got some weapons with Lockett and whatnot, but honestly, I'm not a believer in the Eagles at home. Crucial game. Their secondary, especially against the deep ball, can be exploited. But when you can get pressure like this, that's a combo that you can get away with, because how often does the quarterback have enough time to really beat you over the top? So we know Wilson is certainly elusive, but Carson Wentz on the DFS side, that's a whole different show. But I kind of like these Eagles players, especially if they can get some semblance of a wide receiver core. Alshon playing would be huge, but with guys like Miles Sanders, Ertz, they've got enough to get by in this game at home. No excuse. They should win this game, and I think they do.
Yeah, I think I saw this morning that they're trending upward, whatever that means. But I think Rap Sheet tweeted that Aguilar and Alshon were both trending in the right direction to play.
Oh, you gotta discount it. If Aguilar is playing, you gotta add it.
Yeah, we're going the other way. You might be right.
Also,
yeah,
like
those stats.
Line movement on this one, I think too, right? So,
let's see. Is there reverse line movement?
I think so.
No idea. I had not looked at it, but
well, it's always tough to tell because like that. I think it's factored into the spread moving, so that reverse line movement may be indicative of people betting at a different number, right?
Yeah, you don't know where people are betting, especially when this line has moved. Looks like it's moved 2 points from the opening line. Opening line might have been from last week though, before the games of last week because it opened at 3. But yeah, I'm seeing 1.5. I think for what we're looking at, it's 1.5. Yeah.
All right. Lock it in. I love it.
You got to keep in mind too, like with the NFL in particular, there's so many moving parts with injuries that sometimes you can look and be like, oh, there's reverse line movement, or like something happened with Alshon or somebody else, and it's just driving the spread a little bit indicative. But certainly that's something we always preach. One of the many aspects of it. But yeah, I guess we're all on the Eagles. Why not? Sure.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
Yeah, that never doesn't work.
Yeah, that game was, not that this is just kind of anecdotal, but that game was supposed to be the Sunday night game. They got flexed out of that spot and then put Seattle in the early time slot, which, Nolan, you mentioned that. Like Seattle kind of got screwed in that sense.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Good point.
Like, and there's only 2 afternoon games. Like, why would they not just flex it into the afternoon spot? But that's a different discussion.
Like 2 afternoon games. My God, NFL's just so bad at this. It's like, what? Like, do you like? No one likes that. No one, and yet they still do it every single week. It's just insane. So
yeah, I can't wait for next week when there's 13 games at 10 a.m. or noon or 1, whatever time zone you're in, and then 2 games in the afternoon.
Do they really want like that featured game on a network? Is that what it is? It's like that network really wants people to watch the Cowboys and the Patriots, and I'm guessing it's CBS. Like,
I guess. I don't know. Even if you have a 3rd or 4th game, like you still feature the one spot anyway. I don't know. It doesn't take a lot of viewership.
It's not like anyone's watching the Raiders and the Chargers anyway. So
just the gens like us. That's probably it.
Yeah, it's true.
So where are we then? So we all are on the Eagles.
So we've all made 2 picks. We got 1 more each, right?
I think I've only made 1.
Oh my God, I can't keep up with you. All right, where are you at? Go ahead.
All right, I'll go with
Take the Cowboys already. Come on.
I also, do you guys like that undercall of 48 on the Eagles game there too? Or I don't know why that total's so high. It's the 2nd highest total in the week. 3rd highest or something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a position. Something truly I haven't looked at a ton, but it seems a little. I would have, just eyeballing it, I would have said like 44, 45.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed this was going to be a defensive game, but who knows? Way off.
Yeah, it looks like it's the 2nd highest total as of right now. I see 48.
Yeah, surprising.
Yeah.
All right, I got I'm taking the New York Jets.
Oh man, I looked at that. Go ahead.
Me too. All right.
+3 at home to the Raiders. Same reasoning as well, like the time zone thing. I think West Coast teams don't travel to the East Coast playing in that time zone very well. It's usually pretty bad. Same thing with the Pythagorean wins. If you kind of get into that at this time of year, it's pretty handy because teams will be overrated based on their current win and loss rather than what they should, and it's sometimes like a little bit the records can be a little bit can oversimplify how good or bad a team is. And for me, I've never really I've kind of gone from thinking the Raiders are awful to believing they're good. Now I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. The Raiders are probably a little bit better of a team, but Sam Darnold is back and he's looking pretty good right now. And I feel like this Jets offense is probably a little bit underrated at this point. The Raiders were favored by 4.5, and that number's been bet down to 3 at this point. So, looks like there's also some reverse line movement as well. I'm going to take the Jets. Give me the 3 points at home, just because I don't really think the Raiders should be favored in this spot. But I don't know. It's a tough call. I'm not super sold on this one. I just kind of saw that number and was like, feels a little bit off to me. It feels like it should be maybe 2.5. So.
Ben, you're a resident Jets expert. What do you think?
I mean, this is like a classic. I'll put it like this: if I showed this, not that we need to bring my parents into this, but they watch football, don't bet a ton. If I showed them the spreads, I guarantee both of them would say, "Oh my God, the Raiders is the easiest bet ever. The Raiders are going to make the playoffs. The Jets are the worst team in the league. This is
I thought the Jets fans were like all super optimistic this year, and it was like
it's just
a new leaf.
This just screams trap. Having said that, I can't take the Jets. They're just so bad. But I totally get it. The Raiders at first glance, they've been beating up on some bad teams, and credit to John Gruden, he's got them in the hunt. I think this spread is where it should be, to be honest. The Raiders are a slight favorite at home. Clearly, if they're as good as they, where they're at, they should win games like this. So I would never back the Raiders in this spot, but I'm also staying away just because I can't trust Darnold at this point. It's just been so bad.
Yeah, I definitely lean the Jets for sure, Nolan. If I had to take a side, I'm taking the Jets. I don't know if you mentioned this, but the Jets, I believe they're the number 2 ranked rush defense. And we know the Raiders want to run the ball a lot and not really open it up with Carr. So if you can make them a little bit more one-dimensional, that's a good recipe to get a victory here at home. So I lean that way. It wasn't certainly not one of my picks. There's a couple other factors at play, but like you said, the West Coast team coming all the way across the country. That's always something I look at. But yeah, I think the Jets is the lean for me. I don't know. Can you convince me to pull the trigger on it? I don't know.
That's fair.
It's just it's a line that I would probably weigh. I know there's maybe some reverse line movement, but I could see this bouncing back to 3.5. I'm trying to grab it there, but there's a couple games like that. One of my wagers is actually in a similar type of spot, but you are a brave man. So we've all picked 2 now.
We've all picked 2 now.
Okay. I don't know where we're at. Should I just go?
Yeah, just go. I don't either.
We'll do it live. Me just saying, I can't back the Jets because they're so bad. But my last bet is the Bengals.
Sorry, did you just pull out a Chris Berman? We'll do it live.
Yeah, we'll do it live. Bill O'Reilly. I'm backing the Bengals at home against the Steelers, divisional game. I don't know what you have on your screen. I have a 7. It may be 6.5 where you are. So shop around as we always preach. I'll take whatever for the contest. Not worried about that. But I will say that I'm not trying to say that the Mason Rudolph situation is going to impact them severely, but it has to be a distraction. Juju, Deontay Johnson, and James Conner left that game. They're all questionable. Don't know exactly where they're at. They're on the road. Cincinnati's been a little, Finley's, of course, a work in progress. Mixon's been playing better. We'll see about who they have available. But you know what? In a game with a sub 40 total, I'm going to take the points at home. I know it seems like the Bengals are never going to win a game, but you know what? I wouldn't be stunned to see them compete here and really put a dagger in the Steelers' playoff hopes.
Well, Ben, that is my 3rd pick as well.
Wow.
I like it.
I should fade you too.
You should.
You better. We're both on the Bengals. You gotta win.
Oh, gross.
I feel like the Bengals are playing a little bit better of late. Yeah. Like it's kind of garbage, but whatever. They're running the ball a lot more. Steelers without their starting center Marquise Pouncey suspended for that for the Cleveland Browns game. Mason Rudolph doesn't inspire any kind of confidence, in my opinion. And they're banged up. They're just going to miss 2, as you said. Like they're possibly their top 2 wide receivers. So James Washington and Vance McDonald and like this, it's an awful offense. Like maybe they're just going to try and it's going to be 2 teams trying to pass as much to their running backs as possible and try to get the running games going, which would lead me to believe it's a lower total and more likely to be a closer game as well as maybe just with the running. I think they're probably just going to try. Both teams are going to try and up the run the clocks down here and try and just get out of there with an ugly win. So I'll take the Bengals plus 6.5. I don't feel great about it. I'm probably not going to bet too heavily on it, though I might throw them into a few little parlays here and there. So as well, it looks like Cody Glenn is also back. Their Bengals starting left tackle. He's expected to be back. So a few little things there for the Bengals. Auden Tate looks like he's out, but Erickson, Boyd, those guys are serviceable, and then Mixon and Bernard. Finley's going to have an ADOT of like 4.1, but that's all right.
It's all right.
That's all you need. Yeah, Connor was ruled out this morning, and I think Juju is now doubtful, so I'm guessing he's probably not going to play.
So Jalen Samuels with
fire up Jalen Samuels,
14 targets and 11 receptions,
so
63 yards.
If that's the case, I'll say this: if you're going to bet this game in life, you should lock it in then, because I'm not sure that it's reacted fully to these guys if they're all trending down.
Was it at 7.5 earlier? I feel like I thought I saw that earlier in the week, and I was like, damn, I should bet this now, and then now it's moved over the
line. I don't know. One of my books that I'm looking at has 7 right now. So
yeah, and I've still seen some 6.5. So if you can lock in 6.5, go do it. If you like, well, we're talking Bengals here, right? Yeah. No, I was looking at the Steelers since I'm deciding if I want to bet the Steelers or not. Yeah, look for that 7. You might be able to find it going above 7, and I think it will go above 7 when public gets in there.
Yeah. So there you go. You're not backing the Steelers as your play, though, are you?
I'm not. I want to do it just for the sake of the show. Yeah, just to spite you two. But no, alas, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to. I can't get the Bengals right. Not that anybody can, but I had the Bengals against the Ravens for this show as one of like a really good pick that I really liked the Bengals 2 weeks ago. Obviously, they lost by 100. I then took the Raiders. I don't think I took the Raiders on this show, but I had the Raiders in some contests last week against the Bengals. So I don't know. I don't know which Bengals team's going to show up. Maybe just Lamar is too good and he breaks everybody. I'm not sure.
Are you going to that game?
I'm not, but one game I do want to get your guys' thoughts because we're going to have a few minutes here. I do want to talk about that Rams-Ravens game, but that's not one of my picks. I was looking at that game, but I'm going to keep the trend going, which is taking the worst teams possible. There's a matchup of 2 really horrible teams, so I'm not sure. I was really going back and forth on which team I wanted to back in this game. At the end of the day, I think I'm just going to, hold my nose and take the Giants. So the Giants are on the road at the Bears. It seems like Trubisky is going to play, which is the main reason that I want to bet against the Bears. I think them being at home is worse for Trubisky because if he starts off bad or even slow to any degree, the fans are going to be on him and on the team like you won't believe. And we've already seen some issues with him with confidence and just being a sufficient quarterback. And not obviously the flip side is Danny Dimes on the road in Chicago. It's going to be cold. It's going to be, the Bears defense is still good. They're not as good as they were last year, but they're still one of the top, 8 defenses in the league. At least the Giants are coming off a bye. I'm kind of hoping that Saquon gets a little healthier and they can just run the ball and Danny doesn't make too many mistakes. But I'm seeing, is it 6 or 6.5 in this game for us? I think 6. Yeah, so I'm getting 6 points. It's a low total, like Ben, you were just talking about with Cincinnati. That the Giants-Bears total is 40.5. So if you're giving me 6 points with a low total, with the Bears offense, who really can't put up any points against anybody. They haven't scored more than, I think it's 21 points all season. I'm going to lean to the Giants here and use them. I was honestly going back and forth with this game. I can see the Bears coming out and playing well, but we've said that a couple weeks now, and it's just, I think they're too far gone now.
I was actually staring at this one for a while on the same side as you. Was just sort of waiting what the injury status was for like Evan Ingram, and if I guess Sterling
Shepard's playing. I think
is he playing? So like this Giants offense, he's hoping for clearance on Friday. That's amazing. So like with Golden Tate, Sterling Shepard, Saquon Barkley, I'm guessing Evan Ingram is out, but that's a solid offense going up against a clearly pretty good Bears defense, but. I don't know. I really like the Giants side of this one too. Might have to bet it as well. Also coming off a bye too, right?
Yep. Coming off a bye. Ben, what do you think in this game? Crazy? Giants on the road?
I mean, they're so bad.
They're so bad.
It's a reasonable thing to just say that Trubisky at this point shouldn't be a 6-point favorite over anybody.
Yeah. Maybe Miami, but I don't even know over Miami, to be honest.
No. I don't. The Bears are a team. You just mentioned Cincinnati, and I agree with this to some extent. But for me, it's the Bears. I have backed them in multiple spots that I really like this year, and they've been awful.
Yeah.
And then when I've faded them, it hasn't gone good. Last week, I thought at home they could get, one last hurrah. I thought they might end the Rams season. Didn't happen. And now they're at home. I have no position on this game. I guess I would have to lean with the Giants just because I see not a lot of difference between these teams. And as good as the Bears defense is, it's still, like you mentioned, it doesn't really matter if you can't score more than 13 to 17 points. So going to be an ugly one, but man, God, that is a hold your nose pick for sure.
That game is going to be ugly. There's no doubt about it. I think the weather is going to actually it's going to be cold, but it shouldn't be anything worse than that. But yeah, it's going to be a rough one. So if you give me the 6 points, I really think they're pretty similar teams. So you're telling me the Bears are 3 points better than the Giants on a neutral field? I don't know if that's true. So I'm going to go with it.
He's got to be this is a side.
Got to be done.
You think the Bears draft a QB maybe? Or what do they? You think it's that dire?
I think it is that dire. Yes. I still dabble with the sports radio in Chicago. I mean, that's obviously a lot of poison pills in there. But I mean, everybody is just ready to move on. And obviously, Chase Daniel is not the answer. I mean, he's not the future by any means. So I don't think I think the coach is gone. I think the GM is probably gone too. I don't know how you can survive that pick when you trade up a spot to get him for really no reason. Everybody looks at
Mahomes and John Lynch there too.
He fleeced the Bears so hard in that trade.
Yeah, it was. That's one of those things. It's it going in. If you're going to trade up and get him, that's going to define you. Just like Gettleman with Daniel Jones. It may work, but it's going to define you one way or another.
Yeah, absolutely.
How do you? I got two. We actually got three starting the late slot on Sundays. We got three. Dallas Patriots, then Packers 49ers, then Ravens Rams. Those are three really good games in a row. Curious as to know what your guys' thoughts are on the Packers 49ers and the Ravens and the Rams. Those are two games I don't have a read for at all. I'm leaning towards the Packers and the Ravens, but 3-point spreads each. I don't have a good feel. I feel like the 49ers are maybe a little bit overrated, and I feel like the Rams are maybe a little overrated too.
Yeah, great games. Ben, what do you think about the Niners Packers? Any thoughts?
That one, that's going to be a good one. I can't wait to see it. The Packers, of course, are a team that I've been pretty high on all year. Don't really like the Niners. If I had to bet either of the games, and it feels kind of trappy, but the Ravens are in such a groove right now. And the Rams are just, the offensive line is in such shambles. The Ravens defense, which I thought was a really good spot early in the year to pick on, is getting better. They are really it's not just Marcus Peters, but man, is he helping. So right now they are more balanced than you think. And of course, Lamar in this offense is playing out of their minds. So only 3 points. I kind of just lean to the low hanging fruit, and I probably will back Baltimore.
It's such a interesting game, the Monday night game, because the public is going to be all over the Ravens. We know that for sure. And that's the only reason I'm trying to come up with in my head, how can I get to the Rams? I've been very vocal that I don't like Goff. I want to fade him every time I can. Mm-hmm. Like you said, Ben, the Ravens secondary is incredible now. I think you mentioned Peter, since he's been on the Ravens, which I think is 3 or 4 weeks now, he's the number 1 ranked quarterback per PFF. Jimmy Smith's back. Earl Thomas. I mean, they're loaded on defense. I want to find a way to get to the Rams, but I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah. I think the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl this year.
I really hope you're right. That would be fantastic.
I'd be fine with that.
If they can't, I'm telling you, I've seen this story too many times. I went to UMass. If they have to go to Foxborough, you're not going to sweep the Patriots. It just never happens. They always find a way to win the rematch.
I don't know. See, I think I don't know. I just feel like Baltimore is one of them. It's if it was the Steelers, this is totally narrative, but if this was the Steelers, I would agree with you. The Ravens just kind of have a little bit of New England's number, don't you think?
They do. They punched them in the mouth. There was one
Flacco, baby,
where they rolled New England in the playoffs up there. Yeah. Ray Rice scored on the first play, and it was
that was Flacco. The Flacco Super Bowl.
Was that the year? Oh man.
So
I
yeah,
think so.
that was when they knocked out Ridley. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
The Ravens need to, I think, get home field to have the inside track. It's so valuable, and it could be, the snow, the weather in New England.
Let's say they do and they make it out. Like, is there anyone from the NFC that's going to challenge them right now?
Packers.
Packers?
Yeah,
I think so.
Packers plus
you like the Packers?
Niners?
I do. I was looking at the futures yesterday, and I think if you're going to back the Packers, this is the time to do it. Because when they beat the Niners, you're going to get those odds cut severely based on one game. So
yeah,
if you like the Packers, I think the time to take a shot is right now and see what they can do. To me, that NFC is so wide open.
It is. I mean, I like the Saints. I mean, they're the favorite, so there's not a lot of value in betting the Saints to come out of the NFC. But that defense is so good, and with Breeze obviously running the show now, I just really like the Saints. It's like no hot take at all, but
yeah, they're quite good. Another team in the dome, it's going to be tough, but we'll see.
Yeah, home field for them is incredibly valuable. I mean, they got the whole revenge narrative from last season. Seems like it's still going strong. Whatever that's worth, which is like nothing. But that Saints game this week is interesting too, because the Panthers have had a couple really rough weeks, but they're getting a lot of points. Another division matchup. You guys look at the Panthers at all?
10 points. I was surprised.
A lot of points.
Yeah, but
it is.
It's a stay away from me. I don't know. Like Kyle Allen just hasn't looked great so far recently, so I'm a little bit worried about it.
Yeah, he was. Just throw a touchdown last week, guy. I needed him desperately. I had some real good teams with him, DJ Moore, and Olsen stacks. That doesn't work when you throw 4 picks. So we'll see. The NFC South right now, we could do a whole show on. It's just bizarro world. Like the Falcons right now look like the best team. Obviously, they're long gone, but
yeah,
it's just all of a sudden Atlanta is cooking and in a groove.
Yeah, it's so strange. I don't know. Is anybody left in a survivor pool? It's been a rough couple of weeks. Should we give our thoughts?
No, I was out of mind when the Saints lost, unfortunately, but I didn't pick them that week in this one. So I'll I guess I'm pretty sure I haven't taken the Saints yet. I will take them -10, or you know what I mean.
Brownies for me.
Same.
They can't drop this game. They can't drop any games, and their playoff will hinge next week when they rematch with the Steelers. They will get by Miami this week at home. Should be no problem. And then we'll see. They, as crazy as it sounds, the Browns really have a somewhat decent chance to make a run here.
They do, based on their schedule, and like you said, everybody is talking about is going to circle that matchup next week when they play Pittsburgh again. I'm going to take the Browns too this week. Pretty certain that we haven't taken them, so they've got Miami at home. They're a double-digit favorite. Do I have a lot of confidence in Cleveland? No, but they got to get this win.
Yes, it's true.
Do you guys know if Thielen's going to play this week?
I don't.
I haven't seen an update on him.
Bye. That's why.
I was going to say I don't. I was going to say I don't even know who they play.
Might be too early today.
They're an extreme. Not again, different show, but they are an extreme dark horse. Minnesota is quietly just chugging along, and I know no one trusts Cousins, but they're a good team, and we will see come playoff time what they're made of. But
you're not wrong.
Whew, boy.
Time for some Ben college bets.
Uh-oh. Is it that time, Jordan?
I think it's that time. Am I frozen or do you guys hear me?
Oh, no. No, we just thought you were taking a long pause. No, you're back.
No, I have some issues.
It's all deadly. Yeah, I mean, so college next week, I'm sure we'll delve into a little more. We're at the point where you can start talking about like the if this happens, then this happens for the playoff. Really, the big game this week is Penn State and Ohio State play.
Yeah.
But it's 18.5 points. So it's like as big of a game as it is. It's not like Penn State has a realistic chance to win the game, in my opinion.
I couldn't believe that line was that high, personally, but I think it's probably a pretty good line, right?
So I came into the week ready to back Ohio State. Yeah. At this price, if I take this game, it's definitely going to be on the Penn State side. They've played them competitive all, last 3 years. They've had the lead in the fourth quarter. They have a competent quarterback. Ohio State is fantastic, but they haven't exactly been tested against a bunch of really good teams. So that's a lot of points for anybody. So I would take Penn State if I had to back it.
It's crazy that most of the money, I mean, maybe not that crazy in college, but most of the money is on Ohio State, even laying the 18 and a hook there.
People, there are certain teams that have been covering at a ridiculous clip. They're one of them.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, you have the Akrons of the world, who Akron finally covered. They were 0-10 on the season, and they hadn't covered against the spread in 10 weeks. Got it done on Wednesday.
Got it done. All right, got to ask you, because Nolan, you mentioned Iowa football last week. We got a huge battle of Illinois, Iowa. The line has moved 3.5 points the wrong way. Well, I guess that's a good way for me if I want to bet Illinois. They're now 15.5-point dogs.
Take it away, Nolan. This is your
account. What do you got, Nolan?
I'm the most casual Iowa fan of all. I assume they will try and run the ball and slow the game down, and try to win by a field goal. That's my hot take.
It's going to be an ugly game. Over under 47.5, which for college is pretty low.
And for a 15-point line, very low.
Yeah. Illinois has shown, they had a couple of wins where it was kind of head turning, but it just turns out that Michigan State is actually horrible.
Yeah.
So that's
Illinois,
not
coming off a bye, sandwiched in between two rivalry games, Minnesota and Nebraska. I like the Illinois side of this.
Oh, all right. You're rolling with the fighting Illini?
Let's do it, Lovey.
Lovey. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the same story. As Nolan knows, I'm back in the Oregon Ducks again. Covered last week, as they always do. They go to play Herm Edwards in Tempe. It's only 14 points. They have a real chance to make the playoff. They are rolling along, and no slip up. Of course, they can't have one here. They're just better. They're clearly the better team. They're battle tested. They're in a groove. Arizona State's lost 4 in a row. They should just waltz in and waltz out with an easy victory here. I think they win going away once again.
I like that pick. Yeah, I'm probably going to tail you again with Oregon. Let's just keep it going. Keep the momentum.
They've been great. And then, I mean, just a quick look ahead. Michigan gets Indiana, who that could be a little trap. I'm not going to lie, just because Ohio State, Michigan in Ann Arbor next week is going to be super interesting. I've been trying to think. I mean, I know that, we're not lines makers. I just have no idea where this will be lined. I don't know if Michigan will be getting like double digits at home. I don't know. I really.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. Obviously, what happens, tomorrow, if there's any hiccups. If Michigan barely gets a win, they'll probably get a little bit less respect at home.
If they're getting more than 10 points, barring something ridiculous happening this week,
you got to take it.
I'm really going to be leaning heavy on Michigan next week at home.
Yeah.
That could save Harbaugh. Not that he's going down, but he wins that. This is a successful year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got a lot on the line. Yeah, it's a huge game next week. Any college hoops this weekend you've taken a look at?
So we got.
Or do you have any other football games? Any other college football?
College football. I have my DFS and betting breakdown, which I just sent to the man himself, Nolan Kelly, right before the show. Those will be up soon enough. Get them rolling. So check that out on the site, because I will be breaking them down in full. I'll say this real quick. Oklahoma State's quarterback, I believe he broke his foot. He's out for the year, though. So they're turning to Drew Brown against West Virginia. I don't like West Virginia in life, but I do back them here in Morgantown. The spread, of course, has dropped a bit. But they're still getting 5.5 at home. I think I'm going to take that spot. But turning it – actually, one more. I got to give a shout-out to another Pac-12. Nobody watches the Pac-12. Oregon State right now, their over-under at some of the books was like 1.5 to begin the year. They're 5-5. They're winning Pac-12 games. They're 10.5-point dog at Washington State. The over-under 76. So it's going to be up and down.
Wow, that's insane.
76. I'm going to take the points, though. Their quarterback, senior, 23 touchdowns, 2 picks on the year. Just 2. Guy's playing fantastic. And I know Mike Leach doesn't play defense. Washington State's going to score a boatload, but in a back-and-forth game, I'm going to just ride with the state of Oregon. I like the Ducks. I like the Beavers. Going to back both of them until that stops working. It's been pretty profitable all season.
Yeah, that seems like a good spot for Oregon State. You're right. Nobody, even out here, and nobody talks about the Pac-12 games
No
just
one
because
cares.
UCLA is so bad. USC, just there's no excitement at all for any of the Pac-12 football.
Nope. And this is the time of year, just in general, chat. Bowl games, you want to this team is motivated. They obviously haven't been to a bowl game in a while. So yeah, they're 5-5. They have a lot to play for. So I like to target teams like that are up and coming. It means a lot for them to get to a bowl.
Illinois as well.
Yeah.
They might already be eligible.
Yeah.
Now, understand, why does it matter so much for a 500 team to get to a bowl game nowadays?
It's crazy. Everybody gets in. They really should shrink it, but there's too much money in these made up bowls. But I guess real quick, you want to talk about college basketball? You want some real shenanigans going on?
For sure.
Madness yet, Ben?
What's up, boss?
Is it March Madness yet?
Yeah, it's the early stage. There are a lot of tournament games in Jamaica and Charleston today.
Why aren't you at that Jamaica tournament?
North Florida played yesterday. That we really should have just moved the show, so I could have talked about them. But really, the really only game that I kind of like, I'm just going to back Villanova in this spot. They play at 2:30 Eastern today against Mississippi State. I got it a little earlier, and I beat the closing line, so I'm very happy about that. They're up to 6.5. They lost to Ohio State earlier in the year. That happens. They went nuts. It was in Columbus. Now they get a Mississippi State team that's undefeated, but they've played literally no one. And I know this Nova team isn't as good as years past, but they have Gillespie. They've got freshmen in this Earl Robinson guy. They got Bay. I think they're just clearly the better team. I think we see that on a neutral court today, and they kind of impose their will. The game I want to see the most, and I'm most excited to see, will be tonight. Georgetown and Duke play at the Garden.
Yeah.
Georgetown looked good last night. Finally, Patrick Ewing got them playing competent basketball. They beat Texas pretty soundly. I don't know if they can hang with Duke. It's a 13-point spread. I kind of like the over. They've been playing up and down. The tempo for both these teams going at it. And just Georgetown's defense is pretty atrocious. So the Hoyas, this would be a marquee win for Patrick Ewing early in the year. I don't think he gets it, but that's a game to keep an eye on later tonight.
That game's at the Garden?
Yeah, there's a doubleheader. So Texas and Cal play, and then Georgetown and Duke play to round it out tonight.
Is that part of a tournament, or what is that?
The Empire Classic.
Oh, baby.
These talk about creative player. These tournaments are there's a million of them. And yeah, I mean, there's 350 teams. I know I've said that before, but it's hard to go through all these games. You have so many moving parts.
Yeah.
You want to get a couple teams, try to track them, and stick to it, because if you don't, you're going to end up going crazy trying to track all these teams.
Oh yeah, that's a full-time job right there for some people.
Yeah, it can be that's the thing though. If you can get a team, I know I joke about North Florida, but I have seen them play dozens of times. I know the team well. The lines makers aren't spending a lot of time lining North Florida and Iowa. It was against your boys last night, Nolan. They played Iowa. And if you get a team like Liberty, who's fantastic this year, Vermont has Anthony Lamb, who's one of the best players in the country. Then there's some real creative schools. You can find soft lines in those conferences and take advantage of them.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Before we get on out of here, anything else this weekend, Ben, that you're looking at? Any other crazy sports or any European action you have?
No, I mean, so the Euro Cup qualifiers just ended a couple days ago to set up the stage for Euro 2020.
Yeah.
It'll mostly just be, like I said, college hoops, college football. So just a good week of that. Hockey and basketball, I don't get too into it until we certainly past Thanksgiving. I just can't get into it this early in the season.
Nolan, anything for you this weekend?
Oh, just the usual. A little football, a little hockey. maybe Canada. Shout out to Canada for making it to the semifinals of the Davis Cup. That's pretty impressive.
Okay.
Is Canadian tennis big on the radar in the States? I'm not.
It's pretty good. It's in a pretty good place. Men and women got some good Canadian players.
Yeah, FAA
like
in
one
the
of the
gang.
worst tennis nations of all time to being a powerhouse in like 8 years. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, you got Bianca. She keeps winning. Yeah.
Shapovalov.
Yeah, Ronic. You got some good players.
Not bad.
Jeannie, she doesn't being a celeb, but whatever.
Yeah, she's a good Instagram follow. I don't know about her tennis game.
Yeah, tennis. That's both your accounts. I know you guys are tennis guys. A lot of sports out there. Like I said, busy time of the year. Crazy.
For sure. For sure. Well, we'll get on out of here. Nolan, you have the NFL Yahoo Strategy Show coming up next. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, me and Alex is down at King of the Beach. King of the Beach.
Yep.
Yeah, King of the Beach in Miami. So he will be live. He's probably going to be wearing a Hawaiian shirt, drinking a pina colada, but it'll be fun.
From the beach. Yeah, I did a show with him yesterday. He was in living the dream down there in Miami.
Yeah, he's live from the beach, and we're all stuck at home in our little offices here. Doesn't seem right.
Times are tough. I'm going to go watch some college basketball, but I will say real quick, as we always do, Chad, if you can hit the like button, we do appreciate it. And if anyone has any questions, I know there's so many sports and we can't get into it all. Hop in Slack. I will be in there. Nolan's in there. Jordan's in there. We're all talking sports, breaking down these games, and the articles will be posted soon enough.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure to check all that out, and we will see everybody next week. Have a good weekend and good luck.